watching CBS News Detroit.
Welcome back to CBS News Detroit at noon. June is Alzheimer's and Brain Awareness Month, and it's estimated that nearly 7 million people currently have the disease. From a legal standpoint, if you have a loved one with the disease, it is so important to plan ahead. Joining us now to emphasize that point, attorney Danielle Mayoris, to give us a few suggestions. Hello again.
Hello, nice to see you.
Great to see you. Why is this conversation so important?
Well, as you mentioned, the statistic with 7 million people living with Alzheimer's in the U.S. alone, this means that countless families have loved ones with this disease. And from a personal note, my family happens to be one of them. My dad actually has Alzheimer's. And so not only do I have the professional perspective of working with clients for the last few decades, but also the personal journey. And what I can say is the legal planning is really critical because this is a progressive disease. And the fact that my dad had the planning in place definitely made things easier and continue to make things easier on my mom. And so it's one less thing to worry about.
Wearing the attorney hat and the daughter hat on this topic, if somebody already has a diagnosis, can they still sign legal documents, or is that all the more reason it's important to do it beforehand?
I think this is a really important question because it depends. A diagnosis of Alzheimer's in and of itself does not mean that someone's legally incompetent. It depends on what stage they're in, and so it's really a case-by-case basis. But if someone is legally competent, the two most important documents we want to have them sign are a medical and financial power of attorney. And if someone's not competent, we can go through the court system and get a guardianship and conservatorship so a loved one can make those decisions.
I've heard a few people talk about this, and I remember just finding the numbers so jarring. How much can Alzheimer's care be, and how can a family afford that?
It's really staggering. The average cost of care for someone with Alzheimer's and dementia is $400,000. So one of the things I always recommend to families is looking into long-term care insurance. It's an insurance that helps pay for someone's care. And fortunately, my dad purchased this insurance before his diagnosis, and it has made a world of difference financially to my mom. Now, if someone can't afford this insurance or they can't qualify for the insurance, then we can do long-term care planning as elder law attorneys, which means we're using the Medicaid laws to preserve and protect assets for families, and we can protect a lot of money this way. And then I always say do that in conjunction with a financial advisor to try and help the family generate some more income.
You have a top 3 set of tips for families impacted by Alzheimer's. What are those?
My top tip is don't wait to plan. Believe it or not, we've actually have clients in our office in their 40s and even late 30s, Rochelle, with a diagnosis of Alzheimer's dementia. So this isn't just for people who are quote unquote old. I would also say my second tip is work with professionals who specialize in this area. There really is a difference between a great estate planning attorney and an estate planning and elder law attorney, and these are complicated areas of the law, so work with someone who does this all the time so you have the provisions you need. And lastly, and this comes from the heart, get support. The Alzheimer's Association is a great organization to provide support and programs. My parents took advantage of all of that, and I think it's a great resource for families. I also encourage people to consider hiring a geriatric care manager to help them navigate this journey because it's a lot for caregivers and families. And the caregiver or the geriatric care manager that we hired really was invaluable to my family.
I am just in awe of your dad planning so perfectly ahead and then you carrying that knowledge on and helping others. Danielle, thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.